The power of a praying wife, a covering and the blessing to her husband. Welcome back to the channel where we are going to dive deeper into matters of relationships, love, and spirituality. Today, we are discussing something truly powerful, and it's about having a wife is a great thing, but having a praying wife is a great blessing. A praying wife is a cover to her husband. I think we all can agree that marriage is more than just a partnership. It's a spiritual bond. And when a wife steps into the role of a praying warrior, she does not just cover herself, she becomes a divine covering of her husband. So this episode is dedicated to unpacking what it means to have a praying wife and why it's a true blessing. So my name is Elizabeth Chitechi, and this is our Glow Up Era podcast. Let us get into it. So if you're a wife, this one is for you, and if you are a husband, this is for your wife. So the importance of a praying wife. And by the way, have you subscribed on my YouTube channel? If not, please subscribe on my YouTube channel and put the notification button on so that you will be notified each time I upload a new video or a podcast like this one. So, the importance of a praying wife. Let us first explore the difference between a wife and a praying wife. Marriage in itself is a beautiful union, a commitment between two people who chose to walk through life together. But when we introduce the concept of a praying wife, we are talking about a woman who has the power to shift things spiritually. She stands in the gap for her husband and her family and her home in general. A wife is already supportive, nurturing, and loving, but a praying wife adds an extra layer. She's connected to the source. And which source is this? God Almighty. And through prayer, she will connect to God. She intercedes on behalf of her husband. She prays for his strength, his decisions, his peace, his success, and his overall well-being. In today's world, where life is fast-paced and pressures are high, a praying wife is the fortress that covers her husband spiritually. So if you are a woman, you are a wife, that is, please, you need to be a supportive woman, a supportive wife to your husband, specifically with spiritual matters. Unajua Mungu anasikianga maombi ya mama sana. Like mama mzazi, you know you are mother nature, so nature will hear you first. Now, the covering of prayer. So let us break down the idea of praying wife as a covering. Now, what does this really mean? Number one, we are dissecting the covering of a woman. The covering of a prayer in a woman. We want to dissect it into various maybe two sectors. So one of it is spiritual protection. Life can throw all kinds of challenges at us, maybe financial strains, maybe health issues, conflicts at work. But imagine having a wife who is constantly praying for your protection. A praying wife invites God's protection into the life of her husband. She petitions for spiritual strength that shields him from forces that aim to weaken or destabilize him. Prayer is like a spiritual umbrella that covers both her and her husband from unseen storms. And, when you talk about spiritual protection, it's not just a mere talk. This is something so serious, because you can imagine you as a man, you are going through the financial strains to support your family. You have health issues. There's a lot of issues even at your workplace. But you have to come home and provide that fatherly love. It's not easy. So instead of you as a wife moving from one door to another into your neighborhood, looking for udaku or mushene, It is time for you to understand what you are going through in your household. And by the way, I hate wives wenye anajua, yani hata jirani anajua like huyu mzee ana strain. Ushaipita bwana mtu na anajiongelesha mpaka unaona uzuni, mpaka unaona there's tears in his eyes, but bibi yake ni mudaku kwa ploti, mudaku anatoka kwa hiyo nyumba akipeleka udaku, yani makesi zenye wanasolvingi kwa hiyo nyumba. It's terrible. Instead of you being that kind of a wife, afadhali upige magoti chini uombe nyumba yako. Now let us talk about mental and emotional support. You know, men often face tremendous pressure to succeed, to provide, and to lead. It is not easy. They may not always show it, but the mental and emotional toll can be heavy. A praying wife understands that she cannot solve all of her husband's problems, but she can take them to God. She prays for his peace of mind, clarity in decision making, and emotional stability. This kind of support is invaluable because it shows that through prayer, she's lifting him to a higher power who can carry the burden he may not even talk about. It is not easy. Marriage is something so profound. Haikujangi na manual. You need to know how to take care of your household in terms of prayers, in terms of mental and emotional support, especially to women. Okay. Now, how a praying wife uplifts her husband. How? Like if somebody asks you, how do you uplift your husband? That is what we are going to dive into. Now, you see, prayer is more than just asking God for things. It's a spiritual act that changes the person praying and the one being prayed for. When a wife prays for her husband, it strengthens him even if he does not immediately feels it. So let us dive into a few examples of how this works. Number one, praying for his purpose. A praying wife understands that her husband has a purpose, a calling. She prays for him to walk in alignment with God's will. Sometimes men can lose sight of their purpose due to life's distractions. And a praying wife brings her husband's purpose before God, asking for guidance and focus. Over time, this can shift the direction of his life towards something even greater than he imagined. Number two, praying for his health and well-being. Health is wealth, right? A praying wife consistently petitions for her husband's physical health and strength. She asks for healing where there is pain and protection where there is vulnerability. Her prayers extend beyond the physical. She covers his emotional and mental health as well. Okay, so asking God to remove any anxiety or stress that may weigh him down. So as a woman, you need to understand that your man also need his well-being to be healthy, because health is wealth. If you don't pray for him, then mtakaa tu hapo wawili mkiangaliana hadi bills zinawashinda kulipa, and it is so painful when couples find it so hard to pay bills. Like kila mtu anamkanga asubuhi kwenda kutafuta, lakini mnakuja mkiangaliana like hakuna mtu amepata, and it's so painful. Kuanzia tarehe 1 mpaka tarehe 30, you know, as a man you cannot even provide for your family. It is very, very painful. So as a woman, you need to understand that health is wealth. When you pray for them, maybe they are undergoing some emotional issues, you know, but some mental problems, but they don't talk about these things. So you committing him into prayers is good, because God will come and intercede and help you out. Number 3 is praying for his relationships. We all know the power of influence and the people your husband surrounds himself with. Okay, a praying wife is discerning. She prays for the right friends and professional relationships to be formed. She asks God to remove toxic influence and replaces them with those who will support and uplift her husband. She knows that his success is linked to the company he keeps. So she constantly has to pray for God's wisdom and guidance in this area. Let me tell you, if you are a woman, you need to have the discerning spirit. that every time you know you are rightful standing with the Lord, but your partner is messing outside here, you need to read in between the lines if something is not right. It is very painful to be committed in a relationship, you as a woman, and the party that you're committed in a relationship is, they are busy galvanting outside here looking for others apart from you. So you as a woman, you need to have the discerning spirit. You need to understand if something is wrong. You just have to see the way, spirituality. You need to see how the environment is changing. And if you focus yourself very well reading the environment in between, you will know if either if it's you a man, your wife has messed out, or if it's you as a woman, your husband has messed out. You will know. It will not even take you years for you to know. You will just know things. Like me, generally, I dream things. I dream them. I literally dream things in my household. I dream, like I have a dream, and when I speak that dream, it does not even take me a day before I know the truth. It doesn't take me a day before I just align these things together and I will find the truth. So you as a woman, you need to have a discerning spirit so that you will have a good relationship with the Lord, and success is linked to the people your partner keeps. Okay, we have some partners who have some very weird friends that you see, like, have you ever reached a point whereby you have friends whereby your friends at a specific time they are in their own household, but you are still galvanting outside here? That kind of friends are not good to keep, because a good friend will be like, let us go home. There is no need of you staying until late hours, and you are a married woman, you are a married man. So this kind of relationship, we need to understand they are mandatory. And if you pray well, God will remove toxic people and give you people of influence. Now, let us talk about biblical examples of praying wives. To make this even more relatable, let us look at some example from scriptures. One of the most well-known praying wife was Hannah, the mother of Samuel. Though her story is often highlighted for her prayers for a child, she also set a powerful example of a woman who was deeply connected to God in prayer. Her fervent prayers didn't just bless her, it paved the way for her family's future. Another example is Priscilla, wife of Aquila. Okay, both partners in ministry, both partners were in the ministry with Paul. While scriptures does not explicitly mention her prayers, her life exemplifies the spiritual strength that comes from a woman who is fully committed to God and her marriage. She supported her husband, and she supported their ministry and contributed to the early church's growth. That is a woman, and this is Priscilla. Okay, we can infer that her spiritual life played a significant role in the harmony of their marriage and work. So ask yourself, on these two examples, Hannah and Priscilla, where are you? Are you a woman who is ready to build the church of the Lord? Are you a woman who is ready to make sure that your own home has that harmony and your marriage is working? Which kind of woman are you between Hannah and Priscilla? And there are so many other examples in the Bible. Okay, now let us dig deep. What men can do to support a praying wife. We have talked about women, but we want to know, what can a man do to support a praying wife? Now, husbands, if you are blessed to have a praying wife, how do you support her? Number one, value her spiritual role. Understand that when she prays for you, she's not just a routine. She's engaging in spiritual warfare in your behalf. Don't take her prayers lightly. She's putting a lot of effort, okay, and encourages herself that I have to be a spiritual role model in my own household. Number two, pray together. While it is a blessing to have a wife who prays for you, it is even more powerful when you both pray together. Set aside time to pray as a couple. This strengthens your bond and brings unity in your shared goals and challenges. Okay, it is not good that you sleep when your wife is busy looking into the Bible and praying and covering your household while you are sleeping and snoring. Number 3 is encourage her spiritual growth. A praying wife needs to be spiritual nourished. Support her spiritual growth by allowing her time to read, attend the church, or even engage in activities that deepen her relationship with God. A strong praying wife makes for a spiritual fortified marriages. If you do not encourage your wife spiritually, she will not grow. If you are a man who makes a lot of noise, there is no need of you going to church. You can just pray in the house. You are not nourishing this woman. So, in conclusion, I don't want to bore you more. In conclusion, the true blessing of a praying wife is you now understand. So, to wrap things up, having a praying wife is not just a blessing. It's a covering, a shield, a source of strength. Men, if your wife is praying for you, know that you are receiving more than just love and support. You are receiving divine intervention. And ladies, if you are the praying wife, know that you are wielding, incredible spiritual powers that can impact your marriage, your husband, and your family for generations to come. As we close, let us remember that a praying wife is not just a great asset to her house or her home, but a crucial spiritual pillar into her household. Her prayers are like a quiet wind moving behind the scenes, but bringing profound change. So, thank you for joining me today. If this message touched your heart or made you reflect on your own relationship, do not forget to like, do not forget to subscribe, and share with others who may need this message. Let us continue to grow together, one podcast at a time. Until next time, guys. Bye.